Hey, you'd be proud of me, man. I actually sat down on Sunday morning and I watched the Formula One race. I watched what was going down in Great Britain. I watched the first three laps in great amazement, and then I kind of sat there on my phone the rest
Wow.
of the time. But it was on throughout the duration, I will say.
It was, you know what? Quick little Formula One podcast moment. Um, Pretty wild to see the Brad Pitt movie taking place like during that weekend as well. I don't know if you saw that, but Brad Pitt playing a racing driver along with his
Yeah.
teammate. I don't know who the actor's name is, but Brad Pitt, aka Sonny Hayes, in the Formula One movie. Um, Fascinating, actually, to see those cars. They look great. They sold real sponsorship on them too, which is crazy. I actually figured out one of the drivers Brad Pitt mentioned. One of the drivers that they're actually using for the car, one of them is Luciano Bacchetta, who I actually raced with in F3 way back in the day. Great dude. And I wonder who the other one is, but pretty funny to see them filming literally as they're doing it. And this is a good IndyCar connection as well. After I saw a video, I watched Martin Brundle interview Brad Pitt. But Trevor Carlin is actually the one who is running that team kind of unofficially. Like, they're obviously set up to look like a Formula One team. Trevor Carlin, very professional human being, and runs a very good team. Runs
Yeah.
obviously F2 and F3 and all kinds of things over there. But shout out to Carlin for being a movie star team. They no longer have an IndyCar team. Now they're movie stars. So I text Trevor about that last night when I found out. I was like, hey, man, proud of you for being Brad Pitt's employer. You know what I mean? Like, good for you for putting Brad Pitt in the F1 car. So pretty little fun fact for the IndyCar fans out there, and for the Carlin Racing fans out there who
That
I'm
would
a fan
be
of.
that is cool. It will be wild to see when that becomes a finished product, and it really just
Sad part is, I bet it's going to be
well,
really good.
yeah, it'll
The sad part is, I bet it's going to be
it'll be
super
way more
great.
entertaining than the actual Formula One races that we see, I'm sure. But that's what happens when you can script it and script drama, as we see on Netflix. But
You're
yeah,
darn right.
correct. But then it just gets me thinking about the possibilities of an Indianapolis 500, a current Indianapolis 500 movie, and then I get, all upset and worked up and everything. So maybe one day.
It would be nice. It would be nice.
Maybe one day, brother.
Racing season is underway. New customers download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SPEEDSTREET.
Bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's code SPEEDSTREET only on DraftKings Sportsbook.
Let's start off. Why don't we start off with the weekend podium? All right. So this past week, since the last time we talked over the weekend, you got a third, second, first place finisher for just about anything. So why don't you start us off with third
Yeah,
place? What
absolutely.
do you
We're
got on
kind of,
your
we
weekend podium
this is a
there,
very
Connor?
basic name for now. We might be able to come up with something different, but we're kind of picking some, three things from the weekend that we want to talk about, chat about a little bit. Could be racing, might not be. We can still give the milk to some people after the Toronto race. We're kind of going to save that for post IndyCar races. But on the podium for me this weekend for activities or just anything in general. And I believe we're also going to give a bunch of birds to something after this as well, right? We're going to have the top three things and then something we might give some birds. I don't know. I think that's a great idea because of willpower. So third place for me, I would say, you could almost give him birds, but this was wild. Ben, you put this in your notes as well. But the Arca crash for me, where teammates took each other out. If you didn't see this, you gotta find this. For me, it's horrible, and you could give birds to it. But honestly, one of the funniest things and the dumbest things I've ever seen. So it deserves to be on the podium. There was basically two teammates on the very, very last lap of the Arca race. One of them waited for the other one, who was running, I believe, second at the time, Dean Thompson, and basically just shunted both cars, and they were teammates. And that's hilarious. Deserves to be on the podium for just pure stupidity and insanity, and just I guess that's I guess that's Arca racing, baby. I don't know, but it was very funny. That was something you have to see on the Twitter sphere if you haven't seen it yet.
I did hear a lot about it from our pal Jeremiah. He told me about it, and I thought, "Wow, that is something." Yeah, that's I think that was my literal response. Is, "Oh, I guess that's Arca racing." So, number 3, Ben. Actually, why don't you go? Why don't you give us your third place there?
I will start off with hop over to F1 a little bit. I was pretty excited about this news. Daniel Ricciardo is back in a seat. He's taking over for Nick DeVries in AlphaTauri. So, internet kind of blew up when that happened. So that's going to be my number 3 because I'm not sure if he's going to find himself in a seat next year. Because actually, I saw the quote from Christian Horner right before the news came out that he's not getting in a car and he was testing, but like he's not going to get in a car next year. And then this news comes out. So it'll be interesting to see what the future holds for him. But I'm excited that he'll be on the grid for us this season.
Yeah, that's a wild deal. Old Danny Rick, hopefully he will be a friend of the show at some point. But I saw a wild graphic put out. I don't know who put it out. It might have been Autosport. But there was just like the drivers who have been replaced by Red Bull mid-season is pretty wild. I'm going to read it off to people because it's kind of astounding. In 2006, Christian Clean, most people won't remember that, but Christian Clean got replaced by Robert Dornbos, who used to be IndyCar guy. He's an Indy 500 starter. Could be a random Indy 500 driver of the week. 2007, Sebastian Vettel replaced Scott Speed, American driver, which is, again, these are all big names. Sebastian Bourdais, IndyCar guy, a lot of IndyCar in here, replaced by Jaime Alguersuari, who's a friend of the show, obviously, 2009. And then Danny Kvyat, who's a friend of mine, replaced in 2016 by Max Verstappen. And then 2019, Pierre Gasly replaced by Alex Albon. So all those names are big names. Like, everyone is successful in some way, but it's a wild scene for Red Bull. So, yeah, that was a good one for you there, Ben, and it's good for Daniel. I'm very curious.
It was definitely big news. I mean, he looks like him and Ben Polizzi look alike. So even Ben Polizzi was commenting on that. So, they got the crazy Kramer hair going on. So when you know that when Ben's dumbass is commenting on racing stuff, you know that it's a big deal.
Oh, yes.
Nice pull there, Ben. Nice pull. My third place for the weekend is actually not going out on the weekend. Like this is, believe it or not, this is like a pretty wild revelation that, once you become a father and then the kid needs you and everything, and like you're just like, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna turn my buddies down because 1, I don't want to upset the wife. 2, I want to be a good dad. 3, I'm kind of getting to that point where I just don't like feeling like garbage on Saturday or Sunday morning, So just every now and then, maybe 2 or 3 weekends of the month, maybe even more than that. But just sometimes saying, hey, you know what? I'm bedding at 8 p.m. on Friday and Saturday night, and I'm waking up feeling good on Saturday and Sunday. Not bad.
There you go. I respect that. You got to respect something like that. Thanks, all right, buddy. I'm going to move to the position 2. Position 2 on my podium is the let me see if I remember this correctly. The Millennium Force at Cedar Point. Big fan of the Millennium Force now. That deserves to be on the podium. That ride was fantastic. I believe I went to Cedar Point as a kid, but Millennium Force, great G loads, fun activity. There was another ride that I called the I think Centennial Force or something, or the Centennial something, or the Dark Centurion. I don't know what I call it.
I think that's it. Yeah, I think it's something Centurion.
Something, I don't know, but there was another one that was really good. It's made of wood, but it's another coaster that was very, very great as well. So Cedar Point, Millennium Force, that's P2 for me. Great time.
Nice. What's the Top Thrill Dragster is shut down?
Yeah,
right?
no
That
more
one
Dragster.
Like
Wild to see.
Wow.
And I never got to ride it. So apparently they're going to replace it with something new, though. Apparently they're going to make it pretty crazy. So that it looks like there's some construction going on there. So Cedar Point might have something pretty crazy going in there. Ben, P2.
I'm going to go with another kind of driver announcement. Back over to the NASCAR side. Your guy you're hanging with, Connor, reportedly signing an extension with Spire. I don't know if he able to talk about anything, but there's a lot of rumblings that he was going to hop over somewhere, kind of take what funding he had and whatnot. So, but he'll be sticking with Spire apparently. So that'll come out in the next few weeks.
Yeah, Corey.
The Athletic reported that.
Yeah, Corey LaJoy called me last night. I'm sitting at
Corey
my
LaJoy.
house
Yeah.
trying to go through my laundry, and he calls me. He said, "Hey, are you home?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "What's your address?" I'm like, "What's going on?" He's like, "My flight got canceled. I need a place to stay." So Corey LaJoy came right over to the house, and we just hung out, talked motorsport, talked about all that's going on in life. Corey, one of my favorite people in the NASCAR paddock and the paddock in general. He gets it. And yeah, excited for Corey's future. Excited to see Gamebridge on there on the Spire wagons as well. Gamebridge making a big jump into NASCAR. So that's they were a part of Marco Andretti's truck over the weekend. Dan Towers, that group. Dan Towers has done a lot for me in my career, in my life. He's been awesome. So really pumped for them. And he's taken motorsport by storm. Gamebridge, everyone there. So pretty cool to see.
Corey LaJoy. Love me some Corey LaJoy. Hoping to get
Yep.
the invite to his kickball tournament this year. Because I couldn't last year, but maybe this year. We'll see. All right, my second place.
I
My
bet you'll
second
be on
place
that one.
podium finisher is The Bear on FX and Hulu. I don't know if you fellas have watched this show.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I've heard of it.
It is an absolute masterpiece of television. I love it. There's 2 seasons. Second season just came out in June, but me and the wife just finished it over the weekend. Finished season number 2, and it is really really great stuff. Jeremy Allen White. I'm trying to think of some of them. I mean, they have they have cameos that I don't want to divulge because they make it so much better when you're like, holy shit, and you watch an episode and they're in it. But there's a ton of cameos that are super great. Really, really just good television. So if you're looking for a show, The Bear on FX and Hulu.
nice. I have not watched that yet. I gotta.
It's
Figure,
all
I gotta get
about
into
this
that.
guy
That'll
who
be great.
his brother had an Italian beef sandwich shop in Chicago, and then he comes and he takes it over. So it's all about like the inner workings of like a restaurant. And it's very fast paced, and everybody's like at each other's throat all the time back in the kitchen, and just really great character television. So give it a shot.
Same actor that was in Shameless,
Jeremy
right?
Allen White.
I can't. Is it Lip?
Yeah,
Right.
whatever that guy's
Yeah,
name in Shameless
yeah.
is, but that's him.
It's
Yeah.
good. I think it's Lip.
Yeah,
Or something, Lip.
yeah, okay.
Lip, yeah, lip.
Yeah.
All right, Connor.
I love
First
Shameless,
place.
great
Let's
show.
go.
Yeah, top of the podium for me this weekend. I think in general, this has to do with motorsport, but Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Ooh, that was fun.
I'm not gonna lie. I loved watching all the stuff that was going on in Atlanta. I think the Xfinity race, the Cup race. I just think they've done such a great job with that track. I love it. I'm sure there are people who loved old Atlanta as well. This has a very super speedway vibe to it. But I just enjoyed watching the racing there. The end of the Xfinity race was kind of crazy. Like Austin Hill was so fast but couldn't get any help. And then, people running out of fuel. And the Cup race, obviously, it was sad to see that, stopped by rain. But, like, Atlanta Motor Speedway is a winner. I mean, coming off of a Chicago race, too, for the Cup Series, like, that's a great race to bounce off of because it's like, man, we got 2 weekends in a row of maximum excitement. So I think NASCAR wins as well, but big time to Atlanta Motor Speedway. That place that was electric.
Yeah, I texted my little group chat of buddies who are race fans like me, and I was like, the last 2 weekends of NASCAR, I literally haven't been able to turn my eyes away. Like, it's just been, with all the craziness of the weather and then the bumper cars of NASCAR and then SVG coming through in Chicago and then the absolute insanity that was, at least the first, I mean, it was really throughout, but that first stage and then the ending of the first stage was just an absolute adrenaline rush on Sunday in Atlanta. So it was great stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. So Ben, who's your winner for the weekend?
So this has a tie to Atlanta. So I was actually able to be there on Sunday.
Oh, all right.
So Georgia is famous for their peaches, right? And this
Okay.
is kind of an off the wall thing. So I was in the media center weekend doing some work, and they have probably 4 to 5 wooden carts of peaches, and like they're from like a local farm. Everybody was talking them up. I love peaches. I love anything peach flavored. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have one. I scoop my food, grab a couple peaches. I sit down. I'm like, I'm gonna go into it. I bite into it straight up like an apple. Like I thought I chipped a tooth.
Oh.
And so I kind of worked around it. I'm like, nope, not it. And the people I was with was like, come on, go try another one. So I go up there. I grab from a different wooden thing, go into it, same thing. I bite into it. It's like, I'm like, oh, man.
Were they just
so
too ripe, or
I'm
what?
like,
what
I
is that
can't
how
do
they
this.
are? What?
It could have been. And I mean, everybody I was talking to was like, nope, these are the best. It's the best peaches you had. And I was like, clearly I'm grabbing from the wrong one. So
Bad day
I
at
ended
the
up going
peach
back
farm.
Right. So I ended up going back for a third, same thing. And then I waited probably like 2 hours, kind of beginning of the race. I go back and finally find one. It was better, wasn't the best. So my podium is Georgia Peaches Ain't
That's
It.
number
Oh,
one.
wow.
Wow, that's an interesting first place.
Sorry,
I also-
sorry to any.
I
Yeah,
also love that that you like not went through one, not two, but like you decided I'm
4.
gonna have like 25 peaches to make sure that they suck.
Right.
like,
I want
completely.
a dentist bill.
I respect that dedication. You were hoping that maybe number 7, maybe 6, that like those
8.
are gonna be the ones.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's such a
so-
bummer, man. It's like
Yes.
coming
I
to
know.
Indiana
What-
and having a bad tenderloin or something, or buffalo and bad wings. It's
Yeah.
what?
Right.
Tough.
Yeah. So if anybody has any advice on where to get Georgia
Georgia
Peaches,
Peaches.
please send us at Speed Street Pod.
There you
Thank
go.
Appreciate that.
Nice. All right.
Joey.
Interesting. Well, I'm kind of I'm capping off my first place podium. Then it's a tie-in with a third place. They kind of slingshot and gauge. I think they work hand in hand here a little bit. But my first place podium is my son finally sleeping through the night now. So big cap off to Frankie Molinaro. We got him about
Round of applause.
8:30 or so, 9 p.m. and that boy's out until about 6:30 or 7 a.m. Now it was just literally over the weekend. Like we're hitting strides. You know what I mean? There's still some hiccups every now and then, but my boy's finally coming through. So big first place. His first place podium finish for Flying Frankie.
I love that. That's got to feel good as a parent. I can only assume.